We're talking about all these measures, but in reality, Mr. Speaker, the people in the hinterland are experiencing difficulty and are struggling. Are we not entitled to build a modern home too? Many of us want to live in a concrete house with sheetrock and the different galvanized, or are we, when we decide to build a modern house according to somebody, are we going to lose our identity? That's my question, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me now come to the bill that is now being considered. I wish to begin by speaking to section 52 of the bill, which speaks to the repealing of the current act. Mr. Speaker, I am not a lawyer by profession, but a legislator as a parliamentarian, and to my common knowledge, the purpose of repealing or rescinding a law is to modernize and simplify the statute. However, listening to the Minister of Legal Affairs, or Attorney General, I'm simply not convinced that this is the reason for repealing the Act of 2019. Hence, Mr. Speaker, I wish to quote from the former Minister of Health, one who has proven to be one of the competent health ministers this country ever had, an Honorable Valda Lawrence. And I quote, Mr. Speaker, this bill seeks to improve the welfare and well-being of every nurse and midwife countrywide and to strengthen the healthcare delivery systems. The bill also seeks to ensure compliance with the global standards and to simultaneously ensure that it is reflected in our local cultural setting, end of quote. Mr. Speaker, the Nurse and the Midwives Bill of 2018 established a new and improved covering body named the Nurses and Midwives Council to oversee nursing in Guyana in a more inclusive and transparent manner. Hence, Section 5, which states that the powers of the Council to train and set the required standards for the curricula of study for nursing. The composition of the Council also included a number of persons, including the Director of Health Sciences Education. What we are now seeing, however, Mr. Speaker, is that these very, very important sections of the Act are now being targeted for changes. Mr. Speaker, Section 35V, Section 35.5 has been excluded in the new bill because it is now irrelevant that they have changed the way the persons are selected to be the members of the disciplinary committee. These major changes being made in the new bills are major and mainly in Section 5 and 35 that relates to the power of the Council, as I said earlier, to regulate training, curriculum, examinations of nurses, and the composition of the disciplinary committee. My question then to this august House, Mr. Speaker, what positive impact does these changes or amendments have on the lives of our hard-working nurses, especially those working in the remote areas of our hinterland, and more so the people of this nation when it comes to the delivery of health care? Mr. Speaker, earlier we heard from the Attorney General challenging the then Speaker, Honorable Scotland, for having the Nurses and Midwives Bill of 2019 placed on the order paper and debated. Mr. Speaker, perhaps Mr. Nandalal, the honorable member, should be the Speaker of the House. Mr. Speaker, I am yet to hear from the remainder of the speakers on that side of the House what are their justifications for making the changes and repealing an excellent piece of legislation that was tabled and passed in this honorable House only a few years ago. It was by no means our fault that they were not here to debate on the bill then, when the Speaker allowed it to be debated. I also wish to place on record the call to retain the Director of Health Sciences Education to sit on the council than to just name a representative from the Health Sciences Education. Mr. Speaker, with that said, I now request that this bill be sent to the Select Committee for further deliberations. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Ms.